we can go on to a kind of a Bhayanaka but Raudra, because of the Kallargal, that is the robbers enter the ashram. I had to check with Rajkumar about some scales because I just go with music. There are two aspects. I think since this is a seminar where we're talking about music for Natya and we're talking more about what would be ideal for the communication of a particular mood, I had this discussion with a colleague, a musician also, many years ago when I started off in music composing. I would move away from, I don't think Raghu sir or Rajkumar would move away from the basic ars of a raga at any point of time. But finally, it is about, I would go with the music and then find the raga name for it. So that's what would happen. So at that time, in our discussion, we talked about two kinds of Sangeetam. One is the Lakshana Sangeetam and one is the Lakshya Sangeetam. So there is a Lakshana, that is supposing you are singing in a kacheri, you can't just go with some random flow, but you can go from like even line by line in two different ragas if required, if that mood needs to be created. So that's why this Navarasas being created by the music is something which I wanted to share with you. So even line by one line, I think in the morning session we had one line in, we had something which had two ragas being played, like one line this, one line that, one line this, one line that, So it depends on what needs to be really created. So the Lakshya, that is the goal of creating that particular mood, becomes the pradhanya at that time. It is not about anything there except that. And so even the music surrenders to it, everything surrenders to it, and the rasa anubhava becomes the actual goal to be attained at that point of time. And Natya Shastra clearly states, Nahi rasadrite kaschidartha pravartate. There is nothing, there is no use of any art form, anything in Natya. Natya includes Sangeetam, Natya includes movement, Natya includes dance. Natya includes dramatic techniques, Natya includes sculpture, natat shastram, natat shilpam, nasa vidya, nasa kala, nasau yogo, natat karma, yat natyam na drishyate. And so it includes in itself everything in the world. It is the world. It is the Panchama Veda. It has been created for the world to raise its level. Uddharet atman atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Atmaiva hi atmano bandhu atma eva ripuratmanaha. And therefore, Natya becomes one of the major tools of that Uddharet atman atmanam. And so we move on to the, what did I say just now? Shanta and Shantarasa being created by the Dharmavati scale, as he suggested to me. And as in the morning session, a lot of my Dharmavati has been explored by Akka. So you have seen the Tilana and you have seen the beautiful flower, the bud becoming the tree and the entire universe being created through Dharmavati. This has got a Dharmavati backing, and that is for Bhagavan section. So we have this group of robbers entering the ashram, and they are coming with a complete anger against the world and a need to be better than the rest and somehow get the best out of whoever they can rob from. And so they come into an ashram, into Bhagavan's ashram. I won't say the costume is very ideal in this because but that's what happened. But Bhagavan has been given a veshti in this instead of a kaupinam by mistake, or rather it became like that. And but that is Bhagavan for you. He allows himself when his patra is being played on stage to adapt to these things. And these kallas, these these robbers come in, and the change of the rhythmic patterns and the melodies, that melody which is used for the Shanta, can be seen in this.
Ashramam என்ன நடக்கிறது இங்கே? எல்லோரும் உங்கள் பொருள்களை எடுத்துக் காட்டுங்கள்.
எது வேணுமானாலும் எடுத்துக்கொள்ளவும்.
சரி சரி சரி, வெளியே வாருங்கள்.
பகவான் மீது கை வைத்தீர்களா?
பகவான், உங்கள் மேலேயே கை வைத்தவன் மீது ஏன் கருணை காட்டுகிறீர்கள்?
அவன் எல்லாவற்றையும் ஒரே பார்வையில் பார்ப்பவன், ஒரே பார்வையில் பார்ப்பவன்.
So I think I have sort of covered all the moods that need to be created through the musical support for my children to understand the requirements of the role that they need to play and get into that in completion and move in the right manner to communicate the same to the audience as well. We didn't do Adbhuta Rasa. Can you show just the Sudama part? This actually I've used Kamas for Apudam, which was very nice. But I'll show only the Mohanam part, which is Sudama returning from having seen Krishna, and he sees a completely different family. He's almost unable to recognize his own wife.
என்னது இதெல்லாம்? ஒன்றும் புரியவில்லையே. என் வீடு எங்கே?
சுவாமி.
யாரம்மா நீ?
சுவாமி, என்னை தெரியவில்லையா? நான் தான் உங்கள் மனைவி.
என்னே இது அதிசயம். அதிசயம்தான் இந்த மாற்றத்திற்கு காரணம். கிருஷ்ணன்.
சிவபெருமான் அரசனின்
Definitely Krishnan is Adisayam. There's no doubt about it. Krishnan. So we've covered all the rasas. I wanted to mainly focus only on the productions that we have done with my children. But I felt in this forum I need to share two sections from our regular productions, from what I do with my dance troupe. So there I have worked on Sarvam Brahmamayam, which is a concept where I have taken compositions of different saints, different seers, and explored this one concept of one, the universe being one. And in that, I've got two sections where I have used English verse of Rabindranath Tagore directly without translation in English itself, and have used, what have I used? I said Desh and Hamsadvani. Desh for the stars part, where there seems to be a star which is lost, but they realize that the star is actually themselves, that they are looking for that fullness inside of them. So that is one concept. And then he sees the light engulfing the whole universe. And for that I have used Hamsadvani, because I wanted, it is basically Paramahamsa, we say, the sound of the swan is actually the sound of the self. So it's Hamsadvani, so I wanted to use that for the light. So I've used that, and I will also play I will conclude with my presentation on Ekameva, which is the Ardhanarishwara Tattva, where Parvati and Shiva play this Leela of separation and finally become one at Arunachala as the Ardhanarishwara, where Prakriti and Purusha become one, Jiva and Brahma become one, and the entirety of the Parabrahma Tattvam alone exists as the Ardhanarishwara in Tiru Arunai. And so that is Ekameva. Ekam eva, that is, there is only one, there is only he, there is only the master, there is only his force, there is nothing else. That's how I began. and that's how I'm going to conclude my presentation as well. And in this, the master gave a beautiful kind of a musical composition, which was like Amrita Varshini, because it is again the pouring of complete joy and amritatva on the jiva when it reaches its pinnacle. There is only amritatva thereafter. There is no separation. So Amrita Varshini I wanted. And then I used the Panchama as the sa and got Hemanta. I didn't even know the name of the raga, but I created the music, and the music has gone on, and this was many years ago. And of course, we do the production late. We have done the production later as well. But Hemanta with Amrita Varshini's Pa as Sa got created. And then Adoda Gandharam Lalandayi, we get Karnataka Shuddha Saveri. That is what we get as the third raga. And then come back with that, the re of that becoming the Sa, again coming to Ekameva. Why I felt that this was given by the master is that look at the exploration. We move from one raga into another. We move from one role into another. We have the substratum which remains the same. And everything is finally that Ekam Eva. And so I will conclude with that Ekam Eva in these three ragas combining and coming. And the presentation itself is by myself with my dance troupe. One is The Search of the Star, the lost star which was never lost. The second one is the light which engulfs the entire universe. And the final is all as one. So the flora in the first part of Amrita Varshini, the fauna in the Hemanta section, and in Karnataka Shuddha Saveri we have the living beings as we see the man, the woman, the old man, the young children, and everybody as we interact with on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I will conclude my presentation of this session of Natya Rasa Lahari. So we have Rabindranath Tagore and Ekameva.
When the creation was new and all the stars shone in their first splendor, the gods held their assembly in the sky and sang, "Oh, the picture of perfection, the joy unalloyed." Of a sudden, it seems that somewhere there is a break in the chain of light, and one of the stars has been lost. The golden string of their harp snapped. Their song stopped, and they cried in dismay. Yes, that lost star was the best. She was the glory of all heavens. The golden string of their harp snapped, their song stopped, and they cried in dismay. Yes, that lost star was the best. She was the glory of all heavens. From that day, the search is unceasing for her, and the cry goes from one to the other, that in her the world has lost its one joy. The cry goes on from one to the other, that in her the world has lost its one joy. Silence of night, the stars smile and whisper among themselves, "Vain is the seeking, unbroken perfection is over all." the deepest silence of night, the stars smile and whisper among themselves. Vain is the seeking. Unbroken perfection is over all. Unbroken perfection is over all. Unbroken perfection is over all. The light dances, my darling, at the center of my life. The light strikes, my darling, the chords of my love. The sky opens, the wind runs wild, laughter passes over the earth. The butterflies spread their sails on the sea of light. Lilies and jasmines surge up on the crest of the waves of light. The butterflies spread their sails on the sea of light. Lilies and jasmines surge up on the crest of the waves of light.
Thank you all. And I would like to thank Purna and Jayashri, who is not present today, but who's helped me a lot with the video editing. And thank you all.